One of the things that really drives me up the wall about dingus, and yes, a surprise that despite the claims of some people, I'm not a dingist, and I don't support dingism. In fact, I really rather despise it. Let's criticize modern-day China and its imperialism, the imperialism that they insist does not exist. I believe this is a marriage made in heaven. This is something Benjamin Netanyahu said on Israel's relationship with China. Think about that. The value of the trade between those two countries went from roughly $1 billion at the turn of the century to a little over $11 billion in 2019. China now is currently Israel's second largest trading partner behind the United States. You see, this is kind of important because China opposes, at least in theory, the slaughter of Palestinians by Israel. Yet they seem to have absolutely no business doing an astronomical amount of trade with them and profiting off of it. You see, that's kind of the hypocrisy here. That this is kind of significant when you claim you don't support what it does. I mean, this isn't like a simple policy disagreement. This is genocide. It's kind of a little bit more significant than maybe disagreeing a little bit on foreign policy or something. It's actually a pretty big deal. And another thing that really cements China's position as a supporter of the poor and exploited in the world is selling weaponized drones to Saudi Arabia, which are turned around and are used to kill Yemenis. But somehow China is in support of the oppressed around the world and is totally not collaborating with imperialism, making money off of it, which is exactly what they're doing. Now, many people have attempted to say, oh, they're just spy drones. They just monitor stuff. Well, you see, that's a lie. Because Saudi Arabia has purchased Chinese CH-4 drones in 2014 and has since acquired 15 more of the lethal Winglong 2 drones. And they want to buy about 285 more. The CH-4 and Winglong are armed drones roughly similar to the phased-out MQ-1 Predator drone. The ones that have weapons on them. They have weapons that are used to kill Yemenis. China is being a complete and utter hypocrite. Just as Canada is being a complete and utter hypocrite when they say they don't support the slaughter of X number of people, but then continue to sell weapons to them in order to do it. I'm sorry, dingus, you're going to throw a fit and thumbs down the video, but it's true. Let's talk about China forcing Zambian farmers off their land unless they work for Chinese companies. Now, again, everything that I have said here has a link in the description to a source. And one of the things that has been going on in Zambia, China's expansion into Zambia, has been essentially imperialism. Sorry, but when you threaten to force farmers off their land unless they work for you, I mean, that's kind of colonialism. I mean, obviously we're not in the age of colonialism, we're in the age of imperialism, but I digress. It's going on here, and I would really like you to call these Zambian farmers whose livelihoods have been destroyed as being liars. I would really like to see that. Djibouti has been taking loans, and loans is another way that China has been exploiting a lot of these countries. But would you rather take them from the IMF? They're both predatory loans. They're both bad. I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't justify predatory loans just because it's China. That doesn't make it okay. Chinese loans amount for 77% of the country's total debt. Djibouti owes about 80% of its GDP to China in 2017 and became host to China's first overseas military base. Nothing says sovereignty like owing 80% of your GDP to another country and then letting them install a military base in your country. Sorry, that's not sovereignty. That's imperialism. It's imperialism when the US does it. It's imperialism when China does it. In Ecuador, in March 2019, Ecuador agreed to borrow $4.2 billion from the IMF at a cost of 6% of its yearly GDP, while being indebted to $6 billion already to the US and World Development Bank. Ecuador agreed to an 80-90% of its crude oil in exchange to China throughout 2024 in exchange for $6.5 billion in Chinese loans. So we'll give you a loan. We just make sure that all nearly all of your oil goes directly to us. Nothing says free and fair trade like making it so that you absolutely have to sell it to us in order to satisfy the loan that we gave you. China lent Kenya extensive funds to build highways and railways between Mombasa and Nairobi, totaling over $6.5 billion as of 2020. In late December 2018, Kenya reportedly came close to a default on Chinese loans to develop its largest, most lucrative port, the port of Mombasa. A default could have forced Kenya to relinquish control of the port to China. That's right. If you default on the loan, then China gets control of the port, because nothing says sovereignty like a foreign country owning your biggest trade port. But China's doing the solidarity by helping them build the port, and you can tell it's total solidarity by them threatening to take it away. If you were just trying to help, one, you wouldn't be giving them a loan, and especially one that pretty much every African nation acknowledges as being a predatory loan, for a port and then threaten to take the port away. Why would you do that? Let me give you a better example. Cuba. You remember the invasion of Grenada where Cuba sent a bunch of construction workers to build an airport for Grenada? It was a gift. They didn't threaten to take it away at some future point, and they ended up dying for it. The U.S. forces came in and killed a bunch of Cuban construction workers. So, I mean, I know you're going to throw a hissy fit and insult me and say it's all lies, China didn't do nothing, but face it. China is far from this holier-than-thou entity that you really believe in. It is imperialist. All of it is right here. All of it is sourced, and all of it is, frankly, greasy as hell. You're going to eventually have to face the fact one day that China is not the great thing that you think it is. It is capitalist. It is imperialist. And here is exactly what it's doing, and you really have no justification for defending it.